Let's take this moment to just observe our body, where it is, how it feels, and how it's breathing right now. You don't have to change anything. We're just observing.
I think that the gender-wise, like, men are supposed to hold it in and deal with it. You know, don't talk about it. You know, it's harder for men to discuss their feelings, I believe. And so when you hold it in like that, I believe it just kind of like builds up like a volcano, and it comes out the wrong times when you don't want it to. So
we recognize at Soul Collective that this type of healing work is a radical act of community healing. So right now, Breath and Rhythm is a men's circle, and there's not many spaces for men to just lay their guard down and breathe. I want people to come here and feel at home, feel no pressure. If they just come and have some chai and eat some samosas and just chill and listen to my playlist, we're doing good. Breathwork is an ancient practice with deep roots in India, and it's intentional breathing that helps reset our nervous system and plays a part in reducing our stress load. And it also helps us unblock suppressed emotion and helps us connect back to our bodies. Growing up with an Indian household, we practiced yoga, and so breathwork was a part of that. And later on in life, I rediscovered breathwork just for my own journey, my own healing. And as I went down that path, I saw how impactful it was for myself. And I wanted to learn more. So right now, we're just focusing on the breath. You have nothing to fix here. Everybody's experience is different, and it's different every time they come. Some people come and they start shaking, they start having a physical reaction, you know, and they're in a safe space and they're okay to do that. Also, some people come and they just pass out, you know, they take a nap. The breath tells them, hey, you haven't got much rest.
I find it really interesting that this is a group that's diverse. Young people, older people from all walks of life. And it's just really great because we connect, because we're on that same page with regard to just being open.
So I have a lot of some memories that came out that were really hard to swallow, really hard to process, but that's the beauty of it, right? So they're like, okay.
There's so many amazing connections and relationships that are forming from Breath and Rhythm, which is something I'm so happy to see. We open up with a prompt that kind of gives us time to just connect with each other and voice where we're at, you know, in the day or in the week or what's been going on. And it's a space to share.
I will say I grew up in an environment where it was a lot of violence, right, at home. And we'll say drugs and alcohol. So I wouldn't say that I have anyone around to be a mentor for me, right? To tell me, hey, you know, this is what you're supposed to do, and you know, when you feel like this, or how you deal with stress, right? Sometimes I have like really intense process, right? Because I go through places where it need to be addressed and acknowledged, right? And sometimes it manifests in my body and in certain parts of my body, for the most part in my chest, right? Or my lower body. And just the fact that I acknowledge the emotion or the memory that I get during those times, and actually say, hey, you know, like, I know this happened. This is how you were feeling at that time. Let's get rid of it out of your body, right? After the session, I do feel way lighter. Not just mentally, but spiritually.
I feel like we're like a teamwork. We're all breathing together at one time. We start going through our 3-step process where you go stomach, chest, and breathe out. And so for the first few minutes, I feel like I'm choking. I don't know what it is. Then all of a sudden, I just go into automatic mode. And I start just breathing, and I forget I'm breathing, and I just start focusing on little memories and stuff like that, and getting it out, and then going back to the breath. So you're going back and forth.
Being a DJ and a musician, it's very important that the playlist complements their journey when they're doing a breathwork session. And sometimes I'll start with, just very ambient, vibes.
It's super relaxing because sometimes we'll put a little bit of hip hop in there. Then it'll be a little bit of rock. So it's very diverse, so it's very calming too. When we start off our breath work, and then the music he plays, it just vibes. It matches totally with the breath and stuff like that, so.
I think it's been working because everybody wants to know the playlist.
You have to experience it. You're in a space where you're aware, but you're more aware of yourself, but not of the surroundings. There's an awareness, and oftentimes when you're in that state, you will hear things, but they seem so far, far away. You're in this state where you're just in a totally blissful state. Men more and more are ready for this kind of thing. Really, it's find that inner feminine, that feminine side of them, which is the vulnerable side, which is the empathic side, which is the emotional side. And I think this is just a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to continue to promote that.
As a man, I think that's a big thing that needs to be done more often, where it's not just how you doing, not right? To actually hey, let's talk about it. How you feeling? Why are you feeling that way?
Long before the term wellness was mainstream, Soul Collective provided a space for community to come and connect with their traditional roots around healing, especially brown, black, and indigenous people. And Breath and Rhythm is just a continuation of that. Outside of the men's circle for Breath and Rhythm, I am excited to expand to co-ed spaces as well. Men, women, non-binary folks. Breathwork is universal, and this work is really accessible for everybody. I'm also growing, and I'm also healing along with these guys. Even though I'm facilitating, I'm also leaving this space feeling lighter. When I started to see the same people show up every week, and that just really solidified, yeah, we're on the right path here. This is beautiful to watch.